So here is my BMW Hedingham Sidecar outfit. It's a BMW R1150 Gs, non-adventure, and the sidecar outfit is an ETH Enduro Touring Hedingham. It belonged to someone else, and then we bought it second-hand about 6 years ago. The mudguard part here and the box, which is also a seat unit, was black. I've recently added a new larger wheel and also replaced the damper in here, as it was past its best. This sidecar outfit has a torsion bar suspension. Torsion bar is in here. It runs underneath the sidecar and comes out over here. So the torsion bar twists like that, and the damper on the other side, which I've replaced when I did all my little updates on the sidecar, did that recently. So yeah, the sidecar is now handling nice, really nice. In fact, probably better than I've ever had it handling since I've had the sidecar. On the front end, for those of you who have never seen a sidecar before, I'm going to bore some people who've seen sidecars before, because they'll be going, "Oh, I've seen all this before." This is a leading links setup. So instead of having a standard set of telescopic forks, the sidecar uses, or if you're wise, you will use a set of leading links forks, because you don't lean, you steer. You have to steer the front end to get it to go round corners. So yeah, you can probably see in here we have a subframe which has to be specially made so that the sidecar outfit, the sidecar itself, can attach to a frame, because on a GS 1150 the engine is part of the frame. It's part of the stress member, as they call it. There is a top yoke, a standard, and they had to make an aftermarket special bottom yoke so they could mount the leading links forks. So there's a lot of extra stuff kind of gone into it. And whilst I'm giving you a bit of a walk round, I may as well tell you about the rear end. And here we are at the rear end. Sexy exhaust. Yeah, the center of the wheel is a standard BMW R1150 Gs center, laced to a car rim, which then holds a car tire, tubed, of course, because it's spoked. I had the rear wheel powder coated and relaced last year by Hagon products down in Hainault, which leads me on to this. This is the rear suspension. It's the standard damper with a heavy duty spring, which has worked relatively well as long as I've had the sidecar. So it's worked basically quite well. I don't trust that it's going to keep working as well for the rest of its days, so I have decided to change the shock, which you can't really see an awful lot of at the moment. You can see it's a little bit rusty and crusty, and if it's rusty and crusty, then I wonder what the rest of the shock and its internals and its working capabilities, lifespan, etc., will be like, or would be like, and I don't want it to let me down. Hence, me wanting to go down to Hagon's and put a nice, shiny, new, custom-made, bespoke, as it were, shock underneath the back of the bike. So, all my specifications have been given to Hagon's, and nothing left to do except go and get the shock and and fit it. Till tomorrow. We're here. We're outside Hagon Shocks. So let's go in and get the new shock. Cool. There it is. Just been inside and got it. Dun, 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 dun. So, lots of stickers blowing in the breeze. There's the beastie. So there it is. A little bit of an unboxing video. It's a shock. Could be interesting. This bit here is supposed to mount onto the side of the bike. I'm told I can release that bolt there and move the adjuster cable or adjuster tube to an angle that I wanted. Alright, let's get the saddle out off and get the tools out. Let's get it on. Okay, let's get down to the getting, as it were. It's top bolt on the shock. That's the adjuster. Obviously I've got a new adjuster on the side of the new one. I think I'll take the exhaust back box off, and then the bottom bolt down there, and hopefully that should be it. I'm going to put a jack underneath, so that should support, hopefully, the rear wheel and the swinging arm, and everything should stay in place. Right, exhaust off next. That's the bottom clamp onto the Y-pie. Y-pie? The bottom clamp onto the Y-pipe even. Hopefully that should just about do it. Nice. Exhaust removed. Right. I think this adjuster, I'll do that next. Yep. Let's do the adjuster next. Ah, there's a nut on the bottom of that. It's a bolt. Okay, adjuster removed. I think I'll go for top bolt next. Okay, I've realised take out the top bolt out of the shock. I have to take, these are the forward mounts for the rider's seat. They've got to go. I've never really done a video where I show someone how I'm doing something in the garage before. So if it's a bit long-winded, I apologise. If I fumble my words, I apologise. I don't want to sound like a boring twonk. Right, I can't do that with one hand, so I've got to press pause again. Next, I'll take this out. Right, that's absolutely solid in there. I have altered the height of the jack. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to leave it there instead of trying to attack it and push it and mess around with it. I'm going to take out the bottom bolt and then see what happens to the top. Does that make sense? So I'm going to do this one first, then this one second, and then hopefully, hey presto. I injured myself taking out that bolt. It's not out yet. It'll be out in a moment. Okay. The bolt's nearly out, but it doesn't want to come out. That bolt's lost its nut, or it's less one nut. Okay. Bottom bolt is nearly out, but doesn't want to come out. The top bolt, I've got the nut off. And now I'm in a position where I think it would be best if I remove the rear wheel. So I've loosened off 4 bolts already, as you can tell. And that will allow room, hopefully, for the shock to come down and back. Obviously, the jack is holding the bike up. Right, I've got to remove the caliper on the other side. And the little hugger. Here's a thought for you home mechanics, Hagon heroes. I don't know if you can see this bolt. Nice and clear. Ooh, slightly out of focus. It's got covered in copper grease. So I'm still working on the bike. I'm taking the bike apart still. This is the bolt from the rear caliper. But that bolt came out so nicely because it is covered in copper grease. Okay, so mine is not called copper grease. It's called copper ease. Get yourself a big pot. Keep it in the garage. Always very, very handy to have. As you can see, I have a wide array of bottles of things. Comes in handy. Now we're cooking on gas. Now we can get to the bolt. There's no wheel in the way. Oh, look, it turns by hand now without the wheel in the way. Bolt out. Right. So, let's put this thing on pause and see if I can get the top bolt out also. Then we're gonna wiggle or something. Here's another top tip for you. If I wanted to try and hit, tap, persuade, gently, get this bolt to go that way. Never, ever, ever hit a bolt with a hammer. Now I know this is an old hammer of Thor. Sorry, I digress. Anyway, if you're ever going to do that, never hit it without the nut in place. Now hit it gently. Protects the tread. Right, camera back on pause. Okay, that didn't take too long really. Only one pinched finger in the process. So that's the top, bottom. Yeah, you can see that there is a whacking great big spring on there, and that is the standard BMW damper here. All looks good. Dave down at Hagon's assures me that everything should work much better from standard straight away. So let's hope he's right. Okay. So yeah, I didn't have to take anything else off. I just took out the top bolt, bottom bolt on the adjuster, and I removed the rear wheel and caliper. So yeah, that worked perfectly. So let's put it all back together again. Right, this is the the old adjuster for the shock, for the old shock. As you can see, you could fit this on the bike down by my left foot, and there was a little plate BMW made, and that would fit 90-degree angle, fit onto the back part of the footrest hanger, and happy days. Hagon's, the adjuster, well, the old one is probably, I don't know, what's that, 3 inches? Something like that. The new adjuster is significantly longer. Okay, and there's a little plate mounts on just there where my thumb is dodging back and forward as we speak. Their mounting plate is like this. So that's fits onto the side of their adjuster over there. And I kind of went, oh, it's not gonna, I want a 90-degree, I want to make another 90-degree angle, but I want to make another 90-degree angle, and what am I going to do with this? So I had a bit of an idea. Where do I bend this plate to make a 90-degree angle? I made a replica out of cardboard this morning, and I bent it randomly in a spot. It's 90-degree-ish. Let's go over to the bike. First thing I learnt was if I try and put the plate, now I knew this already, I'll just try and see the hole, my thumb's in the way. But if I try and put the plate on top where I'd like it to go, it won't go. But if I put it underneath, the hole will line up. Now obviously I can't hold the camera and my little cardboard template, but I have just offered up the adjuster, which is down there, and it fits just nicely to where my thumb is dodging up and down now. So obviously you have the sidecar mount here. There's more stuff on this on the side of my bike than there would be on a normal bike, so I have to try and account for that. So my random piece of cardboard, and where I bent it randomly rather, that should work. So now I have to try and copy that bend on that piece of metal. Let's hope that works out, huh? So I've now mounted the plate, the original Hagon plate, with my piece of cardboard, and the cardboard was just there for a guide. I've put little pieces of wood at the back and at the front. Now I don't suppose it really matters an awful lot if this little piece of aluminium gets marked with the jaws of the vice, but I'm going to do my my best to try and keep it nice and shiny. So here goes. I'm going to use my cloth hammer again. Right, I'll try and use this with single-handedly, but the bench might. Oh, and that's not how to do it then. So I've made a temporary fix, but it is a temporary fix. The adjuster's too close to the sidecar mount, but for tomorrow, as I want to get this thing on the road and I want to get it all back together again, the temporary fix will suffice. So let's start reconstructing and putting it all back together again. I've been out for a test ride, and I found the new shock is far too soft. So Dave at Hagon's did say that the spring that goes onto the shock may be too weak, so I can bring it back and go up by 2 stages. So it's going back. So see what happens. Well, here we are again. The astute and clever and whatever amongst you will notice that the shock on the right is a different colour. Yep, I've been back down to Hagon's, and they have supplied me with a new shock, so heavier spring than the last one. Also, they've reworked the inside of the damper. So I'm not going to bore you with the details of fitting because I've run through all of that in the earlier. So I'm going to get on and fit it, and then hopefully give you a big fat juicy smile at the end and let you know that I've been successful. So here's hoping. Cross fingers. Well, after a slightly damp and soggy test ride, initial findings, I would say, yeah, thumbs up. Happy days. Very, very pleased. I'm flying off to Ireland to see my mum tomorrow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the luggage onto the bike, back of the bike, when I come back from Ireland. And yeah, and hopefully I'll do a little test ride again, this time with a bit of video. And yeah, so far, yeah, really, really pleased. So, well done, Hagon's. Thank you all.